the World Series was going on. They played a World Series. It wasn't the sexiest World Series ever, Phillies and Astros, but Dusty Baker picking up his first World Series.
World Series, baby! Oh yeah!
Yeah, I wasn't doing that. A matter of fact, I think I watched maybe a total of 6 innings of this World Series.
Only 6?
I think I literally watched maybe 6 innings of this World Series.
Normally I would watch like a lot of the World Series. Last year, obviously watched every game.
Yeah, man.
Pitch to pitch. This year, who cares?
Yeah, I was just checking to see how's this game going. I had about as much interest in that as I do as I'm looking at the TV here in the palatial studios at night, and there's a congressional preference graphic up. Oh. And
I know that I did say Strohs in 6, so I did come out the winner there. So
I thought you were speaking of your preference for Strohs.
Oh no, definitely not. I may be a little bit kin to the Houston area, but I'm not a Stroh by any means.
Yeah, so I actually lived out there in Great Sed.
Oh yeah, my grandparents, my mother lived out there for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I lived in the
grandfather lived longer than that.
Wichita Falls area, which is about 2 hours north of Dallas. If you like mesquite trees and horizon, it's a great place to live.
We live like 20, 25 minutes from Galveston.
Okay,
and so like right next to the Johnson Space Center.
Yeah, you were down there on the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, where I was at, I always tell people it wasn't hell, but you could see hell from there. Yeah, that's kind of how it was. That, yeah. So I was
probably
there hot. Hottest summer ever, coldest winter ever.
I'm just glad I don't live in Texas, because when I went to Houston, every day was like here, but it was like a dry heat. It wasn't like a muggy,
dry heat.
It wasn't like a humid heat. It was a dry, like it's 100 degrees at 7:30 at night, 8 o'clock at night kind of feel. It just felt weird. You didn't feel cool ever.
Yeah, it's weird. Like out in Arizona where it gets 35 degrees at night, and then it gets 135 during the day. So that's your national weather update provided to you. But that's Chad Gwathney on the other side of the glass.
Morning.
He's keeping this thing floating as best as he can with what he's got to work with.
As long as the dog doesn't walk away from him.
Yeah, we got Lady
right.
Bird in here. I'm not even sure what kind of dog that is, but
it's like some kind of pit mix, something.
Pit mix. But she's a pretty dog and a very friendly dog, and so we're glad to have her in here. You can get in on all this, whatever. I'm not even sure what to call this show today. Like I said, my show prep was basically laying in the big chase chair watching college football.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I need to prep. I need to prep for this. I need to prep for the morning dew, but I couldn't break away from the television. By the time I got done, it was like 11:40, and I knew I had to get up early. And hey, we fell back.
Yeah.
Speaking of falling back, we'll talk about Tennessee, but we fell back. And so
that did help me this morning, by the way. I was looking at the clock. I was like, oh, I've got to be in the studio in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I realized I got an hour and 15 minutes.
That's right. And the crazy thing is, a couple weeks ago, I bought a new car. And listen, I still haven't figured out what all this thing does. It's got lots of buttons, Chad. I mean, it does a lot of things. And, like my phone, my trusty phone, I knew I could set the alarm last night.
You're on stream, by the way.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, you're on live stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You mean like
I have that capability, yeah.
Wow.
I can put you on there. You're on that camera.
Nice.
Just say hi to the world.
Hey to the world. So listen, my text, I got a sponsor. He's blowing me up. See, I was going to talk about my sponsor, and I'll get to you, bud. I was going to talk to it, but he's making sure that I'm going to do that, and I will definitely get to that. Good job by him. But so yeah, it was quite an interview. But so I bought this car. It does everything. It heats your butt. It does all that stuff. And my phone, automatically, I knew I could just set my alarm on my phone.
All the fancy stuff.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to have to change the clock. I wasn't going to have to change the time on my phone. So I get in my car this morning, and guess what? The clock
didn't change. Gotta love it.
I'm like, with all this stuff. So now I'm like, how do I change? Because normally I'm that guy who rides around for a year with his clock wrong.
Yes.
That's me.
Yes.
I'm
kind of the same way. I did that for like a few months, but then I had it in military time, so eventually it was just kind of like I just didn't like really pay attention to it half the time.
Right.
So, but yeah, I was just like, wait a minute, I'm wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah,
We got to change this, or I'm gonna get confused.
So, but yeah, I got it figured out. So yeah, the Astros pick up the World Series win over the Phillies. Paul Feinbaum says that the Bama window is closing. He said that this morning.
The Bama window is closing.
The Bama window is closing. I got some
As you wear your LSU hat on stream.
Oh well, yeah,
It's all right. Both my grandparents are Cajun, and my aunt went to LSU, so my grandfather went to LSU, so I've got some LSU ties too. So in my family,
I got a place in my heart for LSU.
Yeah.
I got good friends who are tremendous LSU fans.
Yeah.
I've gone down there and tailgated a couple
yeah,
times.
went back there in 2018.
Gone to a couple of games, so it's a fantastic experience. So I am a listen, you know me in my passion for entertainment purposes, for spreads on games. So I'm a fan of lots of teams.
Yeah,
lots of teams.
Well, yeah,
it changes from day to day, and I'm going to talk about that too, about how kind of give you an idea of what a casual sports bettor may go through during the week and what goes on there. But the Bama window, according to Paul Feinbaum.
I feel like he says that every year, that there's one bad loss, two bad losses.
Yeah, and listen, I don't.
This is 2019. I feel like
I don't know. Listen, guys out there, you may, and feel free to chime in, get in on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977. Definitely want you to do that. But Bama fan, I don't know if you're aware of this. When Paul Feinbaum was a very young journalist, he single-handedly, I'm pretty sure I'm getting this right, he single-handedly shut down the Kenny Stabler football camp with an article that he wrote. Because imagine this. Stabler was bringing some of his teammates in, and at night they were drinking some beers. I know it's hard to believe, but they were having a good time, and Feinbaum mentioned that, and I guess at that point that was basically the end of the Kenny Stabler football camp.
Yeah, I love him though. I mean, I get it. He's been around it for so long, and he's a staple on a good radio show, and now it's it's TV show, nationally syndicated, all that kind of stuff. And man, I swear, I think he owes like the SEC and just Alabama in general for playing so well. The way the ESPN just wanted to take over the SEC network and all this other stuff, and man, if it wasn't for the success of the Crimson Tide and probably the SEC, I don't know if I think Paul Feinbaum still be down in Birmingham.
Could be. I mean, that's when I first came here. That's where he was, and he's definitely he's, as the commercial you say, he's come a long way, baby. But
now it's just his actors the entire time. Like, and before you didn't really catch it as much, but now it's like you definitely know who's an actor and who's a real caller.
Yeah, well, I can't. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of his show. I mean, it's like he interacts like zero.
Yeah, no, I would love a guest that interacts completely. Will get like he'll give you 0% factor knowledge or information or anything, and he'll just immediately go to the next call.
And I get it to a certain point because a lot of his calls are just
just gibberish,
gibberish.
Yeah.
But occasionally someone calls in with a valid point, and he doesn't. He doesn't. He
won't respond
he
to
doesn't
it.
respond to it at all. But
I won't acknowledge it, and I won't respond to it.
So we're early today. The Bama recap show with Steve Moulton and Drew DeArmond, brought to you by Senior Law, will be on at 9 this morning here on 977 The Zone. That should be interesting. UAH basketball
down in Lakeland, Florida.
Down in Lakeland, Florida.
Yeah.
Steve Moulton will be on the call there at 10 o'clock.
I'm not sure who the opponent is. I'd have to look at the
I don't know.
calendar.
I was going to look, but I couldn't even prep for this show. What makes you think I'm going to look up and see who they're
playing? They might have
playing?
it on the calendar.
Yeah.
It's always on the calendar.
And
they're playing Lincoln Memorial.
LMU.
10 a.m.
LMU.
10 a.m.
From my old neck of the woods. Yeah, so Lincoln Memorial University. And unless it's like Lower Manatee University, I mean, it could be some
in
school
Lakeland,
in Florida.
Florida.
Yeah. So
they played Nova Southeastern, yesterday. So
so that's out there. And like I said, the Senior Law Bama recap show, UAH basketball at 10 o'clock, and then the Falcons will be taking on the Chargers. And
the number one in the NFC South, Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
People don't seem to realize that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We'll talk about that. We'll get to that. Yeah.
Halfway through the season.
I get, and that's one of the things I want to talk about, and I want to hear from you guys. What have you been the most disappointed in when it comes to the NFL this year? What's really disappointed you? Also, we'll have our Morning Dew Top 10. Been some changes there. As always, the Morning Dew Top 10 is prepared typically about 45 minutes before we go on the air here in the morning. So a lot of thought and a lot of preparation goes into that. But 256-576-4977 will get you into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline if you want to call and get in. Chad, let's go ahead and get our first break. When we come back, we'll talk about all this stuff and whatever you want to talk about. You're listening to the Morning Dew on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have the state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So you don't have to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Have you been to an Iron Bowl? Even if you haven't experienced the ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience, and it could be yours. How? Head to Baumhauer's Victory Grill every week to sign up to win. We'll also draw weekly winners that will win a lunch bunch from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. So what should you do? Go to Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Sign up for the ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience. Listen to The Drive each Thursday, and Wes and Steve will draw a weekly winner. The ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience, presented by Baumhauer's Victory Grill.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
With over 25 years of appliance experience, Mike Owen and the good folks at Owen Home Appliance are known for their great selection of used appliances. But did you know that they now carry new appliances as well? Brands like Frigidaire, GE, Sharp, Danby, Samsung, Z-Line, and yes, Speed Queen Laundry is available at Owen Home Appliance. Plus, they have recliners so you can relax and watch the game. Give Mike a call at 256-754-5052 or head down to the store at 11 Union Hill Road in Somerville. Owen Home Appliance. They'll treat you right.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Sunday, expect a cloudy start to the day. High temperatures expected to top out in the upper 70s for the afternoon. We could also see a few isolated showers pass through as well. Heading into your Sunday night, patchy fog expected to develop. We'll see a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures expected to fall into the lower 60s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Listen to the North Alabama High School Scoreboard Show, presented by Woody Anderson Ford, each Friday night on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Friday at 5, man, I work, but I don't up his can. All I wanna do is put a drink in my hand.
Yeah.
Throw it down. I got
You have a drink at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Listen, don't judge. Don't judge.
I have my 8 o'clock wine. I have my 9 o'clock whiskey.
Hey, listen. The morning dew is the greatest thing that happened to me from a standpoint of that I don't drink a whole lot on a Saturday night anymore. Just not worth it.
You're like, you're not going to wake up.
Just not worth it. Hey, want to give a big shout out to sponsor of the show, good friend, Mike Owen, and the fine folks down at Owen Home Appliance over there in Somerville. Man, so privileged to have them on board. And listen, they're going to have a Black Friday sale. And this isn't your, like, hey, a month, in end of October, we're going to start putting stuff on sale. No, this is going to be a Black Friday sale. And, in his own words, Mike's always said a Black Friday sale should hurt a little bit from a business standpoint. So, listen, they're going to have a washer and dryer set, brand new, $6.99 for the set. You get both for $6.99. That's a great deal. 48-inch commercial dual fuel range, gas and electric. Black Friday price is going to be $18.99. Right now, that thing is selling for $29.99. So, Chad, you could go down there next week and get it for $29.99, or you can wait till Black Friday and get it for $18.99.
Oh, definitely going to wait till that Black Friday deal.
Right?
You got to be kidding me.
Right? So, 4-door French door refrigerator for $28.99. Go ahead and buy that thing. They'll go ahead and give you a $999 stainless steel dishwasher for free.
Nice.
So you can't beat that. That's the good folks at Owen Home Appliance. Check them out on Facebook. Check them out at owenappliance.com. Give them a call at 256-754-5052 or check them out at 11 Union Hill Road in Somerville. Mike Owen and the good folks at Owen Home Appliance, not only will you get a great price, great service, they're going to treat you right. I guarantee you that. And I know he's hurting a little bit today because he's a big Bama fan. So our condolences to him this morning. But glad to have him on board. You can get in too, 256-576-4977. Give us your thoughts on any of the happenings yesterday. But yeah, so the Astros, circling back, the Astros won the series. They won game 1, 6-5. They won Astros won game 2, 5-2. And I'm staying corrected. The Phillies won game 1, 6-5. Phillies won game 3, 7-0. They hit 5 home runs. Lance McGough said he was not tipping pitches. Dude, you're tipping pitches.
It was the fourth time in World Series history too that 5 home runs in a game.
Yeah, dude, you're tipping pitches. Here, I saw something really interesting on that. So Bryce Harper, obviously a left-hander, he jacks one, comes back, says something to the guy in the on-deck circle who happens to be a right-handed hitter. So it's kind of a known thing in Major League Baseball that left-handed hitters don't talk to right-handed hitters because they see pitches differently. So for a left-handed hitter to go say something to a right-handed hitter means that there's something going on there. So
yeah.
I
don't know if it necessarily. He may have been tipping pitches. I don't know. I think they just caught a little bit of a lightning in the ball right there. I think they were just on him, and then they just stayed on him, and then Dusty Baker just didn't make the change. And I think at the end of the day, it kind of worked out for the Astros.
Yeah, well, I think in playoff baseball and World Series, you just.
It's like if Kyle Wright got beat up last year. It's like let's say if Kyle Wright did the opposite and doesn't close it out, right? I bet Snit would have probably kept him out there longer.
Yeah. So game 4, the Phillies were no hit, combined no hitter.
Yeah.
And
first time ever actually in World Series history.
Astros won that game 5-0. Game 5, Astros won that 3-2. Turn the page to game 6. Astros take the World Series, winning 4-2 or 4-1 against the Phillies. So here's what I want to say about this. The very first question, and I don't even remember who it was. It was a couple of different media folk after the game interviewing Dusty Baker. And the very first question was, does this help ease the pain of 2017? And then someone else interviewed someone. They're like, well, does this erase what happened in 2017. And I'm just like, give it a break. Because listen, have you ever done anything stupid?
Quite a bit.
Yeah. So here's how I equate this: the Astros are basically the guy who cheated on his wife back in 2017, and she's not letting it go. I'm not saying she has to let it go, but it's not being let go. It's me, something stupid I did 5 years ago, and you can't
it's like
let
they
it go.
also thought that like COVID was gonna have a problem and it would like make us forget about it. It was like, no, we're still gonna bang trash cans louder, at spring training, and still be a problem. And then you had the fallout and the lockout, and you were kind of wondering what was gonna happen there too. Will we forget about it? No, we didn't, because Rod Manfred is a joke. So I mean, it's just and especially when the commissioner didn't really do a whole lot either. And he had to be like his back had to be to a wall to finally do something. Yeah,
I don't know.
We're never going to forget about it, and I think that's why it kind of lingered.
I think the one thing, and I'll speak for myself, but the one thing I know that that we tend to do as sports fans, we can be hypocrites.
Yeah,
I mean, we can be serious hypocrites.
Well, here's another thing too, right? Everybody loves seeing Alabama lose. Everybody's rushing the field after a regular season victory. Everybody loves to see the Patriots lose, right? Because they had dominated for over a decade. So, I mean, it's just like we can't have anything good, and we can't have any, you know what I mean? We can't hate. We got to hate it.
And everybody talks about Bama fatigue. I'm tired of hearing about Bama. Well, you know what? Don't rush the field when you beat them.
Yeah.
Because really, I mean, hey, yeah, you win the game, but really, you're just adding another
waste.
You're just putting another log. Hey, and listen, those goalposts at LSU, those aren't your typical goalposts.
Yeah.
And listen, those things weren't coming down. I mean, they had. Did you see the guys?
Yeah.
They had protecting those things.
Yes.
Those things weren't coming down.
Yes. And the funny thing is, it's like Tennessee, for instance. You just got absolutely embarrassed by Georgia, really. And I get it, weather's a factor and all this other stuff, but it was a pretty day halfway through that game.
It was.
And you cut down goalposts and threw it into the river and did all this stuff for a regular season victory over an Alabama team that is probably going to, I think, probably they're going to be that July 1st game.
Yeah, very possible. Very possible. So let's take a look at what happened in the top 10 yesterday. Of course, Tennessee, most lopsided 27-13 loss I've ever seen. I mean, it was.
I said January.
That Georgia defense, and I've been saying all year Georgia's number one. I've been saying it all year.
Well, I think that was disrespectful to have the first playoff, selection, and you've got Georgia at number 3 and Tennessee at number 1 based off of one win. Their one quality win was Alabama. And everyone complained about them squeaking by Texas all year.
Well, and here's the thing with Tennessee. When I saw that they were number 1 in the CFP, and I was like, man, I kind of equated it to when I took a job once in a factory, started at the bottom, just worked my way up, and eventually I became a supervisor. And my first day as a supervisor, I really was met with the reality that I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, it's different at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
It's different at the top of the mountain. All right, let's go. We got somebody on the line? Bama Bino. Welcome in, man. What's up?
Hey, guys.
How you doing this morning?
I think Saban's a victim of his own success. He loses all the good the coordinators, Sarkisian, Kiffin, Pruitt, Kirby Smart. All of those are the best at what they do, and that's currently coaching. Which Jeremy's not currently coaching, but he's far and away 3 times what Golding is. He won at Hoover. He won Jimbo his only over Auburn. Or if they didn't have Jeremy with them, they wouldn't have won the national championship against Auburn in 2013. And Kirby Smart was with him, 10 or 12 years. So,
yeah, I think that's a good point.
What he's getting beat by is if you watch film, all you got to do is throw the ball deep on Alabama, and they're rooster fighting with the receivers. The secondary is there's only 2 options that I see. Either they're not properly coached, and Saban's micromanaging and letting whoever the secondary coach is coach. Or either another option is they're being properly coached and they're allowing them to get away with rooster fighting along the way and not playing the ball and just, I mean, when you're grabbing receivers in front of the referee, and they've been doing it 3 years, then you pretty well say that Jeremy's recruits left, and what little influence he had on them coaching early has went away. But either way, that's not the way you play secondary.
Yeah.
I played secondary, and I'm not a know-it-all on everything, but I know if you throw the ball deep on Alabama, you're going to beat them because they're going to get an interference call. And if you want to know how to play secondary, you watch Kirby Smart's secondary, even though he may not work with them, but he's got a good secondary coach some way because you stick your hand in front of the ball when you're close to him and knock the ball down.
He's also got Will Muschamp, you know.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Bino. But, yeah, Bino makes a good point. You know, Nick Saban, I think Alabama has become a victim of their own success. The SEC in general has become a victim of its own success.
It's all coached under Nick Saban or coaches that got fired recently from Nick Saban. You know?
So, but I said early on after after the Texas game this year, I said Alabama's got problems in the secondary. I said,
Travaris Robinson, the secondary coach, he coached under Will Muschamp. He was the South Carolina defensive coordinator, I believe, when Will Muschamp was over there. And you kind of expect it to be better. But like you said, when you're so good, that's the problem that they have with Dabo Swinney and Clemson. They had that little fallout last year, but then he was able to right the ship. But it's not on a big scale where you're winning for over the last decade. You know, you've won 6 out of the last decade. So I mean, it's really tough when a lot of your coaches are going on and they're going to go make their programs better.
Yeah, so, I mean, tough day for the Vols in Athens. You know, hey, Eric Ainge, former Tennessee Vol quarterback, I don't know how many Bama fans saw this, but I thought it was pretty interesting. He put out something on Twitter earlier in the week that playing between the hedges in Athens wasn't really that big of a deal. It was nothing like being at Neyland. You know, I'd like to see what he has to say about that now. But Ohio State got by Northwestern 21-7. They trailed a lot in that game. That was horrible weather. If you should have been on the under there. The wind was blowing about 35, the rain. So, but they went down.
You only kick one way.
Yeah. Clemson, listen, Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame, they took care of business. I mean, not even 35-14. Not even scored a touchdown special teams, scored a touchdown defense.
I get it. He had one game. I just never understood the love for DJ Uiagalelei.
Well,
I never understood it.
First of all, he's got. To me, it's like trying to say his name is like trying to order coffee at Starbucks. So
Uiagalelei.
Yeah. So I just
Uiagalelei.
So I don't do it.
Well, you could be like other places that I've heard say Lele, and that's like I feel like that's it's like that's not how you say his name.
No, that's not his name. Michigan. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, Michigan really struggled with Rutgers." Well, let me tell you this: outscored them 38-0 in the second half and won 52-17. So it worked out okay. Alabama goes down to LSU 32-31. Drew and Steve will have all that for you on the Senior Alabama recap show.
I got the dump button ready.
Yeah, TCU took care of Texas Tech 34-24. My Heisman write-in, Bo Nix, which I don't think he's a write-in anymore.
Front runner.
He went ahead and threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for a touchdown, and caught a touchdown pass yesterday as Oregon defeated Colorado 49-10. USC edged out California 41-35. And so, yeah, that was your top 10 yesterday. So my top 10, which is the one you really should be paying attention to, the Morning Dew top 10. I'm going to give it to you right now. Number 1. The Georgia Bulldogs. They've been my number 1 team all year. Number 2, the Michigan Wolverines. Number 3, that's right, I'm going to do this. The Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks are my number 3 team in the country. TCU rolls in at number 4. LSU, Brian Kelly and the Tigers in at number 5. Tennessee Volunteers follow number 6. Ohio State at number 7. Ole Miss at number 8. You know, I almost let Bama fall out, but I didn't. I got Bama at number 9 because, listen, I don't care if they're a 3-loss Bama team. A 3-loss Bama team, in my opinion, is better than anything USC or UCLA is going to throw out there. But TCU, the big winner this week, moving up in the Morning Dew top 10. So there you go. So, I was talking about, it's tough at the top of the mountain. If you're the Tennessee Volunteers, I can remember, it's like going from a production floor worker to all of a sudden now you're the shift supervisor.
Yeah.
And you get that job, and you're like, man, there's a lot more to this than I thought. And, it's going to be interesting to see. Actually, the Volunteers' odds, percentage-wise, of making the college football playoff actually went up by 2 points yesterday after losing to Georgia. Now, I'm no mathematician necessarily.
It's like LSU has to win out or something.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Georgia.
I'm not sure how all this. I mean, we'll have to confer with Condoleezza Rice.
It would just be fitting if like LSU went back to their old ways earlier in the season, lose the last 2 games, Alabama wins out, and Alabama's the only 2-loss team to ever make the playoff and win the play.
Yeah.
Win the college football playoff. That would be something.
Yeah. So very, very interesting there. So that's your top 10. And like I said, I'm not going to deep dive too much into the Bama LSU game. I'll let Steve and Drew do that on the Bama recap show. So all right, Chad, let's get another break in here. When we come back, we'll talk about a little bit about the most disappointing NFL teams this year. We'll talk about wagering a little bit and what's going on with that, how to take a look and make some of these picks. You're listening to the Morning Dew on 97.7 The Zone.
With over 25 years of appliance experience, Mike Owen and the good folks at Owen Home Appliance are known for their great selection of used appliances. But did you know that they now carry new appliances as well? Brands like Frigidaire, GE, Sharp, Danby, Samsung, Z-Line, and yes, Speed Queen Laundry is available at Owen Home Appliance. Plus, they have recliners so you can relax and watch the game. Give Mike a call at 256-754-5052 or head down to the store at 11 Union Hill Road in Somerville. Owen Home Appliance. They'll treat you right.
Have you been to an Iron Bowl? Even if you have, you haven't experienced the ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience, and it could be yours. How? Head to Baumhauer's Victory Grill every week to sign up to win. We'll also draw weekly winners that will win a lunch bunch from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. So what should you do? Go to Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Sign up for the ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience. Listen to The Drive each Thursday, and Wes and Steve will draw a weekly winner. The ultimate Iron Bowl tailgate experience, presented by Baumhauer's Victory Grill.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your... so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Sunday, expect a cloudy start to the day. High temperatures expected to top out in the upper 70s for the afternoon. We could also see a few isolated showers pass through as well. Heading into your Sunday night, patchy fog expected to develop. We'll see a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures expected to fall into the lower 60s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Touchdown, Alabama! No look pass inside, but he got to go to play.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And welcome back in. Little Thin Lizzy on your Sunday morning. Boys are back in town. Welcome back into the Morning Dew here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. I am your host, John Boy Dewey McGough. Don't forget the Bama Recap Show right after us at 9 o'clock, UAH basketball at 10 o'clock, and Falcons football at noon as they take on the Chargers. You can get in on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline at 256-576-4977. That's where we're going to go right now and talk to Jay, the first Jay. Jay, what's up?
John Boy, first of all, glad to have you back on the radio, buddy. It's been a long time, and,
Thanks,
I
man.
miss hearing you. And hey, doing a great job, you and the Grills there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Just last night, I knew when we couldn't score, it kept going 0-0. I told my father, I said, this ain't good, and it wasn't. And, we had our chances, and a couple times there when they went for two, if they just kick those extra points, we win the ball game. So.
Yeah,
it is what it is. It is what it is, and it's water on the bridge.
Well, and it is, and you just got to. I don't think that, I don't necessarily think that the rest of the SEC or the rest of college football has necessarily caught up to Alabama. I look at it more. I think Alabama has come back to the SEC in college football a little bit, and it's but Bryce, you still can't convince me that Bryce Young's still not hurting a little bit. He's not the same guy at all. I mean, he's still the feet still work great, but the timing seemed to be a little bit off. And I don't know if basically doing nothing during the bye week and having limited reps during practice this week, what effect that may have had. But definitely not the same guy. If you watch, and a low scoring game was definitely not what Alabama needed last night down there in Baton Rouge.
No, sir, and kudos to Will Reichert. He missed those few couple weeks ago, but he hung in there tough and got those critical field goals when we needed it. But just fell short. Maybe coach will make some changes there at the end, after the season's over with, because I think there's a few guys that they've run their course, and we need some new faces down there to get some new energy down there. So, but anyway. John Boy, I think Georgia's going to repeat because I just don't see nobody that can beat them. Ohio State, if they get in there in championship game with them, they just going to lay an egg like they did against Alabama the last few years. What do you think?
Well, and thanks for the call, Jay. I agree. Right now, I don't see anybody beating Georgia. Really, the one team, the other team that I've kind of been on their bandwagon a little bit this year, and it'd be interesting to see how the whole playoff scenario pans out. But the one team that I think could possibly, maybe give Georgia a run might be Michigan. Really, might be Michigan. Harbaugh just keeps finding a way to get it done, and I don't know how a 52-17 victory over somebody is squeaking by. So, hey, thanks for the call, Jay. Good call. Let's go to Arizona, Jay. Jay, what's up?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing this morning?
Man, it's rainy, but I'm breathing, so there's a reason. So I'm blessed.
I think the weather's reflecting everybody's well-being right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be whether you're a Vol fan or a Bama fan. This is not a great morning.
Yeah, the whole Tennessee Valley, man, is just dreary right now. But as far as Tennessee, I know people were mad that Tennessee was ranked number one, but me and my roommate this morning were like, no, that ranking them number one was a setup. And I was saying that as soon as I saw that, I was like, man, they ranked them number one. Yeah, that's a setup right there.
Yeah.
That's all they doing. They setting them up for failure. Like, here's his number one. You know what I mean? We're gonna watch you hang yourself on it. And I feel bad for him, even though I cannot stand Tennessee, but I feel bad for him. But Georgia really did show us who they really are. And as far as really at this game that I watched last night, it's kind of clear. I know everybody was like getting on Bill O'Brien, and everybody was kind of like, leave the man alone. But you can clearly see it's really what Alabama's been winning this whole year is really just talent off of talent. Key talent that they had at certain positions is the reason why they've been winning. But you can see clearly last night, coaching is the reason why they've been lagging the whole year. Clearly, it's coaching. And as far as I heard the last caller saying Bryce not himself, and I think you were even saying it too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But even with Will Anderson not himself, I really think those two, they're thinking about the pros right now. They're thinking about that. They're really thinking about the draft coming up, and there's no way to deny it. They're thinking about not getting hurt, getting to this next draft because they know that payday is waiting on them.
Well,
and really, they've accomplished everything they possibly can.
And you know, Jay, and you bring up a good point, and a lot of people don't like to talk about that, but, I mean, that's just human nature. There's a lot of money involved here.
Yeah.
A lot of money involved here. And Jay, so correct me if I'm wrong now. Are you an Auburn guy too?
I'm an Auburn guy. I'm an Auburn and the Arizona guy, but I'm like I tell everybody, I'm not a real Auburn fan. I'm a transplant, so I can never call myself a real Auburn fan. Just like I can never call myself a real Alabama hater. I'm not from here. So it's kind of like, hey, where you coming with all this hate? You ain't. It's like that's like dude who poisoned the oak, the trees at Toomer's Corner. The dude was from Texas, and went through all that. Like, come on, man, that's lame as I don't know what.
But you know, I think
like, get it where you fit in.
If you're an Auburn fan, hey, kudos. I know you lost in overtime, but kudos to Carnell Williams and the Auburn Tigers.
It was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch. Hey, Auburn fan. I want to explain to you what you saw last night. That's called energy. That's called excitement. That's called being a team. That's called being a team. And I just hope the administration, I hope John Cohen, I think I got his name right, John Cohen, the new athletic director, can get these boosters on board and they can get some of that excitement. Now, Carnell Williams, he's not going to get this head coaching job, but in a way I'm like, man, I wish they would just give this guy the job. Just give him the job, man, because that's what they need. They need that passion. They need that excitement.
That positivity.
Oh, man. Out the door. I think he actually pulled a hammy, running down the sidelines in that game. But, man, that was fun to see. It literally just warmed my heart. I hated to see them lose the way they lost. But, in my mind, those guys in the locker room after that game, they're winners. They're winners. I don't care what the scoreboard said.
The way he didn't pout about it at the end, that's what I always, I was thinking about too. That's why, Bobby Bowden is my favorite coach of all time, because it wasn't because of how he won, it was because of how Bobby Bowden lost. He didn't cry about it. He was a man about it. You know what I mean? It was no pouting or nothing. He still was positive even after the wide right, wide left, and all that stuff. And that's what I saw in Carnell. I like the gamesmanship. He kept on icing the kicker.
Yeah.
But it's not what.
Yeah, and when his own kicker missed that field goal late, first thing, he was the first one out there on the field to pump him up and show him some love. So I mean that's what that program needs in the worst way. In the worst way. Thanks for the call,
Get rid of that dark cloud.
Yeah. Thanks for the call. But yeah, that's what that program needs. So if you're not going to give this guy the job, find someone. Bring Herm Edwards in, for crying out loud. Somebody with some passion. Somebody who knows that you play to win the game. Bring some passion into this.
Well, I don't know about necessarily Herm Edwards because, he didn't even make it off the field before he got fired.
Well,
and it was like 3 games in.
Technically got fired later on.
He
got fired later on. But what I'm talking
about. But I know what you're saying. You want fire.
You want some passion,
man. Here's one thing I think I see, too, with Alabama. And I've said this before. I don't see guys going to the ball. I don't see everybody tackling. I don't see. Obviously because tackling has gotten worse over the last few years because nobody knows how to teach tackling. Apparently,
it's bad. Fundamentals are bad.
I'll say this though too. As much as the love and the rat poison or whatever that Tennessee was eating this whole week and being number 1 and everything like that, I was just watching constant videos of when Kirby Smart was in the locker room yelling at his players, not necessarily berating them, but telling them that, you should be playing better than this. And when you were talking earlier about, Saban's success being a problem, because I think it's like when you start winning wars for so many years and you're like this big, it's like a big, like you're like the Roman Empire, right? For 500 years, you're dominating all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden you get lazy. You know what I mean? Because you're dominating for so long. Then you start getting lazy, and then you start hiring guys because they were with the program or because they were good assistants for so many years, analysts or whatever. And then all of a sudden you just got lackadaisical and lazy, and then all of a sudden it's just because of all your success, you know what I mean? You got a little laid back a little bit. You know what I mean?
So you're saying like a centurion who went into the transfer portal.
Basically.
Kind of thing. So
I pulled the phalanx. I pulled the phalanx talk on Friday with Tom.
Really went Roman
I'm going
Empire.
Centurion
On the morning dew.
Hey, man, I do history lessons when I come out here, man. I'm just saying I feel like you get lackadaisical. You're used to winning. You know what I mean? Look at the Patriots.
Oh, no, it's true.
I mean, the coach carousel. I mean,
some of it's
assistants.
process, some of it's system, some of it's culture. I mean, it all comes together to create what it is. But yeah, it's things have definitely changing down in Tuscaloosa. All right, we got to get our final break in here, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of sports for entertainment purposes. When we get back, you're listening to the Morning Dew on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Take it to the house this football season with the Alabama Manufactured Housing Association. If Alabama or Auburn returns their first received kickoff in the second half or a touchdown at a home SEC game, one lucky fan will win a $75,000 down payment towards the purchase of a manufactured home from an authorized AMHA dealer. Don't miss your chance to take it to the house this season and win a beautiful manufactured home. Register to win today at auburntigers.com/takeittothehouse or rolltide.com/takeittothehouse. Certain terms and conditions may apply. To learn more, visit alamha.org.
Did you know the state's top-ranked private school is here in Huntsville? What about one of the nation's few Orton Gillingham Academy accredited schools? At Randolph School, our experienced teachers and coaches challenge and nurture students as they prepare for college and life. Our pre-K through 12 school includes Greengate School at Randolph, serving students with dyslexia. Parents, we know that you are your child's biggest advocate, and we invite you to explore your education options. Schedule a tour at randolphschool.net.
With over 25 years of appliance experience, Mike Owen and the good folks at Owen Home Appliance are known for their great selection of used appliances. But did you know that they now carry new appliances as well? Brands like Frigidaire, GE, Sharp, Danby, Samsung, Z-Line, and yes, Speed Queen Laundry is available at Owen Home Appliance. Plus, they have recliners so you can relax and watch the game. Give Mike a call at 256-754-5052 or head down to the store at 11 Union Hill Road in Somerville. Owen Home Appliance. They'll treat you right.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Sunday, expect a cloudy start to the day. High temperatures expected to top out in the upper 70s for the afternoon. We could also see a few isolated showers pass through as well. Heading into your Sunday night, patchy fog expected to develop. We'll see a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures expected to fall into the lower 60s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And welcome back. Final segment of the Morning Dew. Hey, man, this has flowed pretty quick this morning, actually. You are listening to the Morning Dew on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. I'm your host, John Boy Dewey McGough. All right, so let's talk a little bit of NFL. Let's talk about Vegas, not the Raiders. But, just from a casual standpoint, if you're the guy who likes to hop in the car and drive across the state line and place a little wager on your phone, this week I sent out 53 picks this week. Now a lot of people who sell picks and do this, they'll have their 7 or 8 picks. I've sent out 53 picks this week, 31, 21, and 1 so far this week. 8, 10, and 1 in NHL hockey, which you're always getting plus money there, so that's a winner. 2-0 in the NFL so far. 12-7 yesterday in college football. 8-4 so far this week in the NBA. Also had a live wager that I sent out at the game yesterday, Tennessee-Georgia game. When I saw the weather forecast, I'm like, go ahead and take Tennessee plus 21.5. That worked out. So 31, 21, and 1 overall so far this week. 10-plus units. You guys are into that. You know what that means. So if you're interested in how I go about doing that, shoot me an email, valuelinesports@gmail.com. That's VALUELINE sports@gmail.com. So today, listen, Titans, talk it local here for a minute. Titans are going to Kansas City. They're 12.5-point dog. And general rule of thumb is you don't ever lay more than 10 points. But I'm telling you, it looks like slight edge as far as the smart money's on the Chiefs at minus 12.5. That's very interesting. The Falcons are getting 2.5, 3, depending on where you look, at home against the Chargers. Actually, the smart money seems to be leaning a little bit towards the Chargers on that. As far as games, really the NFL slate today, nothing real exciting on there. I may even just stay away from it. I guess if anything, the Washington Commanders have kind of been on people's radar. It's floated between 3 and 3.5. They're a home dog against the Vikings. If I was going to lean anywhere there, I'd probably lean towards the Commanders on that one. Raiders and Jaguars, I was on the over early in the week on that, and that seems to be where most of the money is going, and that line is around 48 right now. Seahawks and Cardinals, I like the under in that, under 49. I think that's a play, but really Tampa Bay Rams, that's an interesting one. Kind of most of the smart money looks like it's on the Buccaneers as a 3-point home favorite. Also a slight edge to that game going under the 42.5. So that's what I've got out there in the NFL. Like I said, I may even just lay off the NFL today and just try to enjoy watching those games. So, but yeah, 31, 21, and 1 so far this week. I put out a lot of plays, and you can get some info from me on that if you want at valuelinesports@gmail.com, or if you happen to be a friend of mine on Facebook, just send me a message and I can let you in on how to do that. So we got somebody on the line there, Chad? I thought we had somebody on the line.
No, Arizona Jay wanted to talk about the gum also that Cadillac was chewing. It looked like he was trying to break his teeth out there.
Well,
the way he was trying to break that gum.
It's that energy, baby.
Got that energy,
man. Listen, he got the towel. Man, he looked like Jerry Tarkanian over there.
He got one of those little things up his nose before the game.
My gosh, man, I was loving it. I hated to see him lose that game. Man. But, hey, listen.
It was starting out. I mean, it was like, oh, man, and then the way that they just kind of bounced back and were able to kind of keep it close.
And I want to go ahead and put it out there. I had Auburn plus 12.5, just saying. I mean, I had Auburn plus 12.5.
Me too.
Yeah, that was a given. But yeah, great job. But yeah, so the NFL slate today, the NBA, there's really only very few games today. Nothing really that sticks out. NHL, only a couple of games. Actually, really going off. I can get that to pull up. Yeah, there's only 3 games going on in the NHL. Nothing really that jumps out there either. So kind of a light day. If you're just stay at home. Don't go across the state line and get the phone out, which I find it very interesting in sports. We keep guys out of the Hall of Fame if they were involved in gambling. I get it. But now every league, whether it be Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, every single one of them has an official sports book. I find what I said, Chad, remember I said we're hypocrites?
Very much,
Yeah,
yes.
we're hypocrites. Well, listen, valuelinesports@gmail.com. That's the official sports information service of the Morning Dew. Shoot an email. Get some info. Put out a lot of plays. There's something to be said for quantity. There's value in quantity. All right, so that's going to wrap it up. Chad Gwathney, thank you for keeping this thing going. You guys who called in, appreciate you. Until next week, I've been your host, John Boy Dewey McGough. Stay dry. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for listening. Love you.